for your work on this so far. I've been attending, my name is Barbara Ciaffarini, and I've been attending these meetings for about 15 years now. 15 years of my life, unpaid. I have a list of questions here, so I'm going to try and narrow it down to a couple most important to me. First of all, when you say institutional controls, other than signage, what does that mean?
Well, the institutional control approach was in Connecticut because of their their water quality standards would insist on the fact that if there's any PCB at all in that system, even if it's very low, and there may be some years where there still will be some, signage is expected. So it is signage primarily when you ask that question. Yes, the answer to that question.
So the only institution you're controlling is human beings because the animals can't read the sign.
That's true.
Okay. I want to know, one of the things that the people have been working on this so long from the environmental side is we understand the wildlife and fisheries community concern about draconian measures. There's still people who are unhappy. I had a conversation with a friend today that she's very unhappy still about the large rocks in the first mile and a half that was done, and I tried to explain to her the reason for that and so forth. But people are very unhappy with how that looks and are concerned that the rest of the river will look that way. And we have been advocating for, we want the river clean, but nobody wants to see it torn up and destroyed for the sake of tearing it up and destroying it. So we have advocated time and time again to the point where groups like HRI went out and found commercial enterprises that are in the process today of remediating places in the United States, including California, which has even stricter standards than Massachusetts, with what they call adaptive management or new methods other than dredging and capping. And I want to know why, even though you mention it in this plan, was there anyone at these negotiations who actually mentioned a specific methodology or group that's doing it now and advocate it or try to get it considered by the team? And if so, why not? And why are there no provisions? Why isn't the word we've asked for pilot study? We're not asking you to commit to the whole river of brand new, quote, unproven technology. But we did ask, we pleaded with you over and over again to at least give a little spot where you're going to try something new. And other than throwing the term out, I'm not seeing any attempt at that. So can you tell me, was that part of it or not?
If any of my colleagues can know something I don't about the dialogue, I invite the comment. I don't think anything in this process to date forecloses what you're talking about. It does not. Process-wise, we hope to put out a proposed plan that talks about a goal, river cleanup goals. Obviously, the responsible party here has enormous capability. And if they come forward and say, well, we can achieve that goal with something that's solid and as you said, proven, there's nothing in our process or our procedure that prevents that. In fact, there'll be full engagement on that. I think what we wanted to spend time with is just knowing how we could do this through conventional measures, start there, and then let the responsible party come in and say, well, we might have a better idea. I might defer, we have a national program representative here. David, is there any comment you might add to the idea of these pilot measures? And there's no prohibition against that kind of work. This could all be incorporated in going forward.
I'm David Charters. I'm with Headquarters Office of Superfund Remediation and Technology Innovation. We specifically have a branch that's responsible for technology innovation pushing different technologies. And as you notice in much of this, it talks about things like the addition of organic carbon, which is moving toward less innovation as it becomes used and piloted at more and more sites. But there is absolutely no prohibition against using innovative technologies, and as a matter of fact, we push very hard to try innovative technologies at these sites. The region has been very clear that in the discussions that innovative technologies are not being precluded, that these types of things will be evaluated. The difference is in these discussions that we had, we were looking more toward goals and ways we're going to do things, as opposed to getting bogged down in the theoretical of how it might be done.
I just like to say, give a pilot study the chance to prove it. Don't just expect it to be proven ahead of time. Use this, since it is such a unique situation, as a way of going forward for other projects around the country.
Barbara, it's probably about time, so what we can do is we can go through other folks' questions. I think we'll have time to come back if you have others.
I did have one more.
I could just add one point on the adaptive management before you move on to a different subject. I did want to call your attention to page 10 of the document, which does specifically call out the idea of using adaptive management and pilots and new techniques for vernal pool remediation. So I would say not only are we not prohibiting it, there's a couple places where we're specifically flagging it as something we want to do.
Barbara, when you last question, go ahead and get it.
Well, it's a big one. It's sort of what my husband